Dortmund stall on Sancho deal, Fulham win the richest game in world football, Spurs agree Saints swap deal, a transfer roundup, and today's great debate all coming up in the next few minutes as I'm your host Matt Froelich, you are the Onefootballers, and this is the Daily News. First up, and yes, I know there's a lot of Jadon Sancho talk at the moment. Well, that's because the biggest news is about to happen because he could be one hell of a transfer if Dortmund get their price. If they do, over £100 million, he'll be the biggest transfer in Premier League history. He will be the most expensive British player of all time, and my word, it will just blow the heads off absolutely everybody. But at the moment, it's not going to happen. Apparently, Manchester United are willing to walk away from the deal because they find it unbelievable that in the current financial climate, Dortmund will charge so much money. Personally, in my opinion, they have every right to. Like, no one's asking just because that many teams have lost some money that they should lower their prices and just give up their prized asset if they absolutely do not have to, which they don't, for less money. Yes, Chelsea may have got Werner on a pretty good deal and Leroy Sané may have gone to Bayern for not so much money if you consider their potential, but that's not really up to Dortmund, and that's not their fault. If they want to hold out for whatever they can, then they're going to do it. There have been so many reports yesterday, actually, that even Jadon Sancho had agreed terms at Manchester United for over 300k per week, but then there were other rumours this morning that that was also complete rubbish. This, drawing a line underneath all of it, is why I don't bring you Jadon Sancho news every day, because there's so much rubbish going around, there's so many rumours, and no one knows whether it's real or not. Until he signs that dotted line and is holding out the Manchester United shirt, I'm pretty much tempted to never, ever talk about him again. Anyway, the current situation, the current standing is that Dortmund want a lot more money than Manchester United are willing to pay, and no personal terms have been agreed just yet. But next up, and to a lot more money than 100 million, in fact 130 million, that is how much Fulham are going to make because they are back in the big time. Promotion to the Premier League was secured last night with a 2-1 extra time victory over Brentford, who so very nearly managed to get into the top flight for the first time in 78 seasons. They were going to move into a new stadium as well. It would have been so perfect. But for Fulham, it was an unlikely double from left-back Joe Bryan, and it means that Scott Parker's first full season as a manager, after having taken charge at the end of their ill-fated Premier League campaign of 2018-19, finishes in victory. Finishes with a playoff trophy, an outstanding feat for the former England midfielder. Anyway, will they come up and be able to actually do something better than they did last time? I just mentioned it there. Fulham were pretty atrocious last time, but I feel like with promoted teams, there's a bit more pressure these days. Wolves and Sheffield United have set an incredible precedent for what you can do when you come up, get a good team together, stick to your style of playing, and make the right recruitments. There really is something to be looked at because both of them have done so fantastically well, especially Wolves. On the other hand, Fulham do not want to do what the likes of Huddersfield, Norwich, in QPR a few years back, and to some extent Aston Villa did as well, which is spend a ridiculous amount of money on players who do not fit the system and maybe abandon some of your laurels that got you there in the first place. Like, if Fulham come up and they try to play their football and they try and add into the right areas that they need improving and maybe not, have a bit of a loyalty problem with sticking to some players who just aren't good enough for the Premier League, then they might be able to do just well. I find that with teams like, as I said, Huddersfield and Norwich, they really stuck with the majority of the side that got them promoted, and then they went straight back down. Oh, and another quick note on Championship football. Unfortunately, Wigan, who had a 12-point deduction, lost their appeal against that deduction, which means the 12 point sticks. It means they're in the relegation zone, they're relegated from the Championship, and they'll be playing their football in League One next season. But moving on to a bit more transfer news now, and Tottenham and Southampton have agreed a swap deal. Well, it's a swap deal of sorts. I don't quite understand why it works like this, but it just does. Tottenham are signing Southampton's Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg for around £15 million, and in the opposite direction, Southampton are signing Tottenham's Kyle Walker-Peters for £12 million. Two separate deals, but both involving the same clubs. Anyway, what it has meant is that Spurs effectively are signing a very good defensive fielder for just £3 million. But on the flip side of this, not only are they losing Kyle Walker-Peters, but apparently Serge Aurier is in talks with AC Milan over a move to Serie A as well, which would leave Tottenham with absolutely zero right backs. In that case, Daniel Levy is going to be forced to go into the transfer market, not only buy a quality right back for Spurs, but also a backup as well. Or considering it's Daniel Levy, he won't do that. And Spurs will start the season, I don't know, maybe with a reserve goalkeeper at right back. On top of this though, there have been a few more rumours about who Spurs could potentially bring into the club, and one of them is Gareth Bale, although according to his agent, it looks likely he'll just sit at Real Madrid and continue to pick up his enormous weekly wage. So next up, in a quick roundup for the rest of the day's transfer news, where Liverpool are looking at Norwich's Jamal Lewis as backup for Andy Robertson. Leicester have made Barcelona an offer of a 2-year loan deal plus an obligation to buy for 45 million for their Portuguese winger Trincao. Next up, and Ferran Torres has completed his move from Valencia to Manchester City. And lastly but not least, a legend retired yesterday in Iker Casillas. The Spanish goalkeeper who won absolutely everything there is to win in world football retired from Porto at the age of 39. So lastly but not least, we come to this week's great debate. This is where our Onefootball newsroom put a question to you guys to answer in the comment section down below, and you can check out my answer and their answer in the relevant article in the Onefootball app, which you can download now for free. But the comment section, we want to know, so far, out of all the officially released kits, not the rumours, which is the best one that you have seen? For me, it's got to be this new Barcelona away kit. I think it's outstanding. Last year with both kits, actually, I think they got it kind of wrong. I mean, obviously that home checkered one was terrible. The away yellow one, it looked better in the pictures. It promised more than I actually saw on the field. I didn't really think it looked that good, but this season, as I say, they've sorted out the home one, but that away kit, black and gold, simple, lovely, a little dash of gold where it needs to be. It's just a classy looking kit. So there you have it. There is my answer to the great debate, and you guys can let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below and your thoughts on the rest of today's daily news. Whilst you're at it, you can smash the like button down below, click here or here to check out all of the other videos we've got going on Onefootball. But until next time, I will see you guys later.